Ladies and gentlemen, this is PGC Erratic from the Paranoid Gaming Community, bringing you our second cast of game here. This is a game submitted to me by SGX Tapeless, who is down here in the bottom position as the blue Protoss, while up here in the top position as the teal Terran we have Kencorp. This is a Clan Wars game between SGX and FLUX, Kencorp representing FLUX, and Tapeless obviously representing SGX. Sorry for the stupid things right there and inability to speak. Anyway, we have fairly standard play coming out right now from Tapeless, dropping a standard 9 pylon. Up here looking at our buddy Kencorp's base, dropping his standardly timed supply depot. So everything's standard so far, no super early cheese. It's not like Tapeless is down here sending a pylon and gateway on 10 here and just being like, yay, let me cheese my way to victory because that's what the pros do, right? Anyway, looking back at our buddy Tapeless's base, we see that he has chrono boosting probes, again completely standard. We actually are looking like this gateway is going to be slightly delayed. I usually see it around 12. Looks like he's going to drop it around 13 instead. Yeah, here it comes. Actually does drop it on 12 right before 13. And going to go back to chrono boosting probes. No doubt we're going to see the first assimilator drop down here real soon. And not much is going on right now. A little bit of information about this is that both these players are Masters level players, so we should see pretty good play from them. I know Tapeless has a fondness for air, so chances are we're going to see some air play out of him. Anyway, standard assimilator timing here on 15. We'll see him drop his pylon soon in a second. Just totally standard. Nothing really interesting to talk about yet. Going back up here to the Terran base, we see his barracks is just now finishing. Not really much strange about that. Perfectly normal time. Going for the orbital command, of course, because orbital commands and mules are overpowered. Moving on to the refinery timing was pretty standard. Looking like actually he's laying down a bunker. That's a little surprising. This bunker feels a bit early. Won't see any kind of pressure from a Protoss player until a little bit later in the game. So you could probably wait an extra, maybe even a minute before laying this bunker down, because it's not until about 5 minutes that a Protoss player can start to actually push you with something. So this 100 minerals for this bunker could have gone towards maybe another barracks or something like that. We'll see if this makes a difference later in the game. Anyway, our Terran buddy here barely going to escape the supply block. Almost got himself a supply block there. Not laying down any kind of tech lab or refinery yet for this barracks. So he's building up a decent supply of gas here. Should see a factory coming down for him soon. We'll see what he decides to do. He's not doing anything. He's sitting on a lot of minerals and a lot of gas and not doing anything. He's making me very sad. Maybe he's going for... There's a supply depot. Okay, he's just going to sit on a ton of minerals. Whatever. Let's go look at somebody more interesting. The Protoss player who chrono boosted a gateway that's not building anything. Because again, that's what the pros do. And of course he's not getting warp gate. Because that's what the pros do. Anyway, looking over here, we have his Stargate coming down. Like I said, Tapeless is a huge fan of airplay, and he did have this second geyser up decently quick. Looking at how many gas remained here, he did have it up decently quick, probably around the time that the cybernetics core was going down. Wasn't paying total attention to that because we were looking at Terran player. And again, going back to the Terran player, we do see that he has his command center coming up as well as a factory. Command center is going to be finished in a little while, in about a minute, and that's not going to be quick enough to get actually online, because we do see that the Stargate has now finished and a Void Ray is on the way. Of course, he's not going to want to expand because that Void Ray, on a map like Metalopolis, Void Rays can go, oh, let's go kill stuff here, and then, oh, he's got something there, let's go kill stuff here. Void Ray is really, really good on this map where the mineral lines are really close by air and really far by ground. Very important thing to note. Anyway, he's going now into his starport, definitely going to start creating some Vikings here, because Vikings are pretty important in the Terran vs Protoss strategy, because of course Colossus are extremely potent. But we do see that the Void Rays are starting to make their way over. We do have one Void Ray here, starting to make his way over. A couple of Stalkers walking around, as you can see, just scouting stuff out, seeing what's going on, trying to make sure no funny business is happening. We actually have our Terran player making a missile turret here. Not sure if he was able to scout and see that Void Rays were on the way, but either way, that missile turret is not going to be in time. This Void Ray is going to be here, and of course the missile turret's here defending the front, and the Void Ray wants to go here. And it's not like he has to walk past it. So that missile turret is pretty horribly positioned. The only reason to put a missile turret here is for DTs, but if you're expecting DTs, just save 50 energy and scan. Of course, the Stalker's helping the Void Ray to take stuff down. Stalker's walking into the bunker, which is a very bad decision. But the Void Ray is going to just start ripping through all of these Marines. Actually, the Stalkers are ripping through the Marines. Void Ray just walking around trying not to die. Because, of course, very important in this game is not dying. The missile turret is now finished, going to stop this Void Ray from poking there any longer. The Viking's actually chasing it, but wants to run in circles because, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the plan there was with that Viking, but a little bit of a mistake. Of course, this Void Ray now coming in for Tapeless, going to get back to poking at that mineral line as much as he can. Void Ray mostly just scouting, getting the Stalkers some sight onto the high ground. Does find a supply depot that he's going to be able to pick at and get himself charged so that he can start picking at some of these SCVs a little bit. Building another missile turret here, but that's not exactly going to be in position to really do much. This Void Ray just going for the easy, guaranteed damage. This is generally what you want to do when you're a good player, is just go for the easy, guaranteed stuff. Don't try to get all fancy. Because you try to get fancy, you end up losing units, getting behind, and that's going to cost you the game. The Void Ray now, of course, just sitting here because he doesn't want to get in range of the missile turret. Missile turret can do a lot of damage to the Void Rays really fast. But they are going to find this supply depot that they can charge up on. And once they're charged, they could actually go after this missile turret with very relative ease. But they are going to be able to easily pick at a couple of SCVs here. Really should be getting down this mule, because the mule is going to generate a lot of resources for the Terran player. The Viking obviously had run into the Stalkers and took some damage, but these Void Rays are just ripping through the SCVs. Viking finally out. Really, he should just use the Void Rays to pick it off. Can't really do much in the way of damage. And the more SCVs and a mule out here, they're just all going to get taken down. This game is looking pretty much over at this point. Taking a look at the units tab, we see a 35 probe to 15 SCV game, and there's just no way you can win that as Terran. You are just too far behind economically, and that's pretty much the game right here. Don't know how much longer this game is going to continue. I haven't really watched it, but we'll see how much longer it goes. The Void Ray backing out, doesn't want to lose that Void Ray for no reason. We'll run it forward to make sure he picks off those Marines, but he's going to run out here, kill off this SCV, kill off more supply depots, get that guaranteed damage in again, because that's really important. But looking again at this units tab, we see 14 SCVs right now to 34 probes. And 30 probes now. There's clearly... Oh man, there was a Hellion drop in the main with Blue Flame Hellions. They were able to do so much damage. They're running up. They're going to easily rip through more and more of these probes. The probes are all... Oh my god, the probes are stacked on top of each other. Oh my god, probes are falling so fast. Blue Flame Hellions rip through probes ridiculously quickly. Oh, there's a nice tasty little group of them right here. You could easily kill all of those probes, but instead target firing the assimilator. A little bit of a mistake there. These Void Rays, of course, just continue to wreak havoc in the Terran player's base. Now they're going to pick off this engineering bay. He could run them down here and go after these Marines, but he's probably not going to be able to take them. This Void Ray really needs to be firing at the something. Maybe the supply depot, maybe even the command center. Tons and tons of mules right here, of course, because he does have 2 orbital commands, but hasn't been able to expand yet. Laying down another engineering bay now that he lost one of his. And it looks like these Void Rays are finally going to get repelled. One of them does drop. The Viking, of course, going to chase down the other one. Maybe not chase it down. Yeah, he's going to chase it down, or not. He wants to make me sound like an idiot. That's cool. The Stalkers, of course, did run into the base, picking off the SCVs that were building these barracks to stop them from doing anything. The Viking is going to now pick off the Void Ray. Barracks do get canceled, but things are looking pretty bad right now for the Terran player still. He caught up on the SCV to work probe count, but he's just losing his whole army here, and these Vikings that are in the air are doing absolutely nothing. He really needs to land the Vikings and fight the Stalkers with them. Finally landing the Viking after everything else is pretty much dead. He's going to be able to kill off the last Stalker, but he lost a lot there, and he is pretty far behind where he should be. Of course, he hasn't brought his orbital command, the second one, to his natural yet. Just been sitting here at the main. While the Protoss player obviously does have his natural up, and he is starting to mine more from it again. He does have Templar Archives, as we can see, but not building any High Templar yet. No real reason to, because of course the Terran player has nothing to mass up, therefore Storm is not going to be useful at the moment. Looking back at the Terran player, we see that he's actually taking a third now. Don't really like that play. Once again, looking at the unit tab, he does have only 23 SCVs, which is 12 on the main and 11 on the natural, not really needing a third yet. Would definitely rather have seen him building up more defenses, getting more structures online in the main, like barracks, and definitely getting more SCVs built. See, he's not building SCVs here. He really needs to be building SCVs. That is absolutely pivotal. Does have this one medevac running around not really doing anything, because he did do his job in getting the Hellions down here to do some serious damage to the Protoss player, but right now, again, the Protoss player is starting to pull ahead really far in economy, and that's just not going to be useful at all to the Terran player. And of course, Protoss is building a pylon here, or as I like to call it, a warp in my units to wreck your fucking face. Lawn. I'm not sure where I was going with that. Has a pylon down here, so not real sure the need of this one, unless he wants to build some cannons here. Be like, yeah, cannons. Get some. Because cannons are awesome. He's just bringing in his Stalkers and his 2 High Templar, who are going to come in here and wreak havoc on everything that they can find. Here come the Stalkers. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, Stalkers, of course, killing pretty much everything. Yeah, everything dying. They're going to start picking at this command center. Not sure if they'll be able to get it down in time. They might. At least get it on fire, maybe. If they can get it on fire, then it will die. Oh, choosing not to go after it anymore, instead going after those refineries. Looks like the Terran player chose not to cancel the refineries. A little bit of a mistake there. Again, we are looking at the units tab, and we see 30 SCVs to 37 probes, and this 10 Stalkers and 2 High Templar is just not going to be something that the Terran player can deal with. As we can see, really need to feedback those. Oh man, great storms here on all the SCVs and all of the units. Perfect storms, and the Archon gets formed, and of course Kencorp does GG. That's the game. Great play here out of our buddy Tapeless. Of course, those Void Rays did massive amounts of damage, did let the Hellions get into his base, and lost a ton of probes to him, but was able to pull out the victory in the end because he kept trying for that economic advantage, and having that economic advantage in the Terran vs Protoss game is pivotal. Protoss definitely like the late game, and so by getting yourself that economic lead and getting into the late game, you will win as a Protoss player. Anyway, that was my time, guys. Thank you. I'm, once again, PGC Erratic, and thanks for watching.